All right, so I've been dabbling around with this horror engine on Unreal Engine, and it's a free what do you call it, marketplace that you can download, a free project, and it's a template for horror games. And I'm not a huge fan of horror games, but I do like the interact and inspect and all the cool things that come with those types of games. So I figured, yeah, well, I'll try it out. And there's a lot to it, and there's not much documentation out. There's a few videos out, but there's no talking during the videos. There's just kind of a quick demo of some of the things they're doing in it. And there's only one video actually demonstrating it from the owner. But I did find the Discord channel for it, which is pretty cool. That has a lot of community guides and stuff. So I thought I'd go ahead and tell you about my way that I want to try to do and utilize this for something a little bit interesting. So I'm trying to make a game where I kind of get tired of the normal inventory and the normal crafting that you see in pretty much every game. And while I know it's a game and we're not striving for hyper realism, I would like a little more realistic stuff in my game, such as, I'm not going to chop down 2 trees and stuff them in my backpack. You know what I mean? Carry 2 logs in my backpack type of thing. Kind of takes me a little bit out of the immersion. So I've been kicking around the thought of an inventory-less type of system, where the inventory is not really used that much. Now, the horror engine already comes with one by default, which is a good one, and I'm trying to figure some ways to change it a little bit of what I want to do. But the concept of what I'm trying to do here today is the crafting part of it, because the crafting usually that you see in games is, it will show a recipe. You get some kind of recipe or whatever, and then it shows up in your inventory, and then it will tell you how many more items you need of something, like maybe two flowers of this and 2 pieces of wood or what have you, and it will craft this particular thing. And it's all done within the window, inside the inventory window. So I was thinking about trying something new and trying a new crafting system, and I've been messing around with the horror engine, and there's some pretty cool stuff it can do when it comes to things like the puzzle maker and stuff. So I think probably the best way, if you're not very familiar with this horror engine, is to kind of show you some of the cool things, and then you can actually find out what is actually going on. Whoops. Gotta let him talk for a second. And that, by the way, that you hear is happening from here. And you can look at the blueprint of it and see everything that's happening with it. And when you click it, you can see it actually is the thing that actually does it. And what's cool is that you can go ahead and take a peek at that, and you can see what's going on with it by coming up here to the right, go to edit button, and then kind of see what it's doing in this particular case, if you're knowledgeable about blueprints and such. And we can see kind of what's going on. Well, actually, it's doing a make asset save. So that's kind of strange why that button shows up as that. But the other way, you can come over here to the right, and you can kind of look and see what they've done. And it says one array element. It looks like, without documentation, you kind of look at this and say actors to use. You're guessing that you're going to tie this button to an actor, such as this, that will actually do some sort of thing or what have you. And I don't know why it's not selecting. There we go. And this speaker 2, if we come back here to the button, you can see speaker 2 listed right there as the actor to use. So, just looking around this engine and without, proper documentation, I kind of assumed when I click this, it's going to interact with this button and it's going to do stuff. And in this case here, play a sound. And you can see here all the speaker settings that you can have. Really cool stuff. And there's these things called horror events. And I'm going to use those today in my crafting thing. But when you look at them, there's some different things that can happen, some triggers. These ones are triggering begin play, triggering speaker sound. So I'm assuming that, when you click this button, it's going to trigger the speaker sound type of deal, and that's how it works. So it's pretty wild, all the different things that you can actually do with this. Let me turn down my volume a little bit. It's not so loud on my microphone here. And so when you come up here, one of the things I'd like to do in my game, obviously, is add some kind of, where you click something and you can read it. So this is pretty sweet. I'm digging this. And I'm digging this inspect window with the animation Like when I click on it, it does an animation where it brings up the item name and the description on the right. I'm going to try to figure a way to do that with physics objects. And you can also take it like that, and it's got a pretty cool inventory, right? So, I mean, they've done a really good job with this sort of thing. And so pretty cool stuff. If you come through here, you know, you got like a physics object thing where you can, oops, not actually, this is a inspect. So this one here, you can see it's got great inspection things. So maybe you can put something under here, a note or whatever, and they can use that, and it goes right back to where it was. This is kind of cool where it does the videotapes and all this other cool stuff here. Like if you're not sure how to do whatever it is, you can just kind of read through this, and it will tell you basically what to do. Put a VHS in, or take one. Turn on the TV. Turn this on, and I believe, let's see. I think you just come in here and use, maybe? No? I'd have to read it. Turn on VHS display, right click on, right click, okay. All right, then we'll probably bring up the inventory, I would imagine, from there. So let's right click on it. Oh, cool. And then from there, you can see it does an insert. Nice. And then I think it just plays, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe I have to click play on it. All right, let's try click and play. Hey, there we go. So that'd be kind of cool, and it just pulls up a video that, you know, is being used or whatever. So pretty cool stuff. Also with the radio. Turn that on. Get some music going. Right click, switches channels. So you would put in your own music and stuff in the game. So that's pretty sweet. But anyways, they got a lot of cool stuff here. They got a lot of cool assets, like this flashlight here. And once you pick up the flashlight, you know, number 3 will do it there. And you can also go ahead and just right-click and inspect them. So I do want to put that in my game, which is kind of cool. But anyways, the physics object is what I'm more interested in, because in my game, I would prefer most things to be interactable, where I can just pick them up and move them around, drop them, do what have you. And I think the same thing here with physics, where you can throw like that. Pretty cool stuff. So they did a real good job with it. What I'm trying to do is try to figure out how to have that inspect window come up. By the way, I did the hand myself, this hand little thing here, because by default, it's actually very hard to see when you first get it. So I actually made my own custom cursor for that. But I would like the inspect screen to come up on this, because I want to use these in crafting. And I wanted to say, like if you hold R, for instance, you can rotate and inspect. You can also zoom in, zoom out. So I do like that functionality better than the inspect one. So I would prefer to get the item information come up there. But I haven't quite figured that out. But anyways, that's kind of the short skinny of it. I'm going to do a video probably going over most of this stuff here in a different one. But I want to come back to this new idea I've got here and show you kind of how I made what I've got going on. So my thought was this. I have a crafting table, and it will be in the level, and it will be a bench. And again, these are all just dummy props I've just put in. Obviously, I'm going to put a little more thought into the props and the design of it, but just for testing purposes. So I made this area here, and they have this thing called a put trigger. So if you go here to the horror engine, you go to blueprints. If you go over here to usable assets and go to portals and triggers, this put trigger is if you were to drag it onto something, you can essentially say, if I put this on that, in that space, it will do something, right? That's kind of the idea of the puzzle game that you see in adventure games. It uses that put trigger. Now, there may be a more efficient way to do what I'm doing here today, but I haven't figured it out yet. So you'll see multiple put triggers here for different recipes that I've made. So my thought was this. I have this table, which is a crafting table, where I'm going to place items on, physics objects items over there. And if I have the right amount and they're the right tag, then they'll disappear. And then over here, in this spot right there, the new crafted item will appear. And then I'll be able to take it and do whatever I want with it. That's the idea, okay? Now, what I've done is I've dragged out some of the ones that they actually have in-game, like this battery, for instance, and I've given it some tags. So if you click on one of these, I'm going to look at that right there, and I'm going to click over here and search details on the right. So if I type in the word tag, you'll see I've labeled it flashlight. Now, in this particular case, I may just go ahead and call this flashlight battery to be very specific, that this will be used to craft a flashlight, let's say, for instance. And then maybe, I don't know, this one here. I'm also going to give that a flashlight, but I'm going to say flashlight core. And for the game, I'll probably have like a tube or something like that you'll have to make. But I want to make it make sense, right? I mean, I want the player to be able to look at that and say, okay, if I put these two things together, they'll craft me a flashlight, that sort of thing. So the idea is I tag these things. Now, there's other ways you can do this. You can select the direct actor, but I can't guarantee what the player is going to put on there, so it's going to be a little difficult to do it that route. So I decided to go ahead and use tags here. So the first demo here I want to show you is if I have one of these, which is the flashlight core, and then one of these, and I place them on that table, it will make a flashlight. That's the idea. And so what I've done is I've put a variety of put triggers out here. And I'm going to go up here, and if you look on the top right, you'll see put trigger, flashlight, glow stick, pistol, valve. These are items that are going to be made from the crafting. So I started off with this put trigger, and I named it flashlight, so I knew exactly which one I'm dealing with. And then in the horror engine, they already have some different things that are set up for you that you would have to pick, right? So what I did in this case here is, you'll see here it says required tag actor. Now again, I can just do required actor, and I can specifically pick that one and that one. But again, I can't be sure that that's what the player will pick up in the game, because I may have multiple of them. So what I've done is, let me delete this for a second here. So what I've done in this case here is you can add an element, and you can say the required actor for the unlock. So for this put trigger to do anything, you have to tell it which items in the game need to be placed here before it will be active. So if I put two items here and I specifically pick them, like the required actor or the tagged, then if I were to put this thing over here on there, it does nothing because it's not one of the ones that it's expected. So if I do required tagged actor, I'll click plus twice because I'm going to have two components that are going to be needed. And by the way, this is set by default to 0, but I'm going to require two of these elements. Now, the caveat there is I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do about this other than direct naming and limiting the amount that are in game, is that if I were to put flashlight, oops, and you got to have it spelled specific, doggone it. It's hard to look around when I'm saying it. So flashlight, what do they call it? Battery. And then flashlight core, I think I called it. And I believe there's case sensitivity. I could be wrong. And I'm really doing bad with spelling today. There we go. So the thing I haven't actually figured out is if there were two items in the game, like if there were two of these right over here, and they both have the tag of flashlight core, it would make the object. I want one of each. I want this and I want the battery. So the only way I can think so far of doing that, other than using required actor, is to just make one of these in the game of each, and maybe have something later that in another level it'll spawn more of these. I don't know, but either way, for this demo, I'm putting flashlight battery and flashlight core because if you recall, that's what I actually gave these for tags. Okay, so that's the two actors. Anything with that tag can be placed on this put trigger, and it will actually trigger something to happen. Okay, so in this case here, required actors tag, put those two, and then I said I need two of them. Now, for instance, if I had 3 batteries in the game, and I called them all flashlight with a tag, I can say required number of tags 3, meaning that I can put 1 and it won't do anything. I can put 2 and it won't do anything, but the third one I drop in there that has that, it will then trigger. So that's the idea behind this required number of tags. And again, I'm just learning this engine as I go along, but that's what I've figured out. Now, I've already made the horror event, but essentially what you would do is click plus right here to make a new horror event. And what I want to do is I want to do an unlock, and you'll see there's quite a few different things you can put in there. And what I want to do is there's something called a puzzle maker right here. And that one there will actually, if I do a number of things, this puzzle maker will then unlock, and then I can do other things based off of that being unlocked. So it's kind of like a gate, if you will, until I can actually do an action. So what I want to do is when I put one of these battery and one of these in this put trigger, I wanted to unlock the puzzle maker that I made called Puzzle Maker Flashlight. So to do that, you do a trigger interaction of unlock, and then once you do that, then you'll expand this horror event right here. And then I'll expand environment, and then actor interactions. In this case here, I clicked plus, and it made a new interaction. And again, I've already done these, so what you'll see normally is nothing here. You'll click plus to add an element, and then I went ahead and expanded that, and then I expanded this actors to interact, and I added a plus, and what I did is use this right here. So this little clicker, this little eyedropper, I used that, I clicked it, and I clicked the Puzzle Maker Flashlight, or I just went ahead and typed it in here, which is what I did in this case here. Okay, so now it's saying I want to unlock the Puzzle Maker Flashlight, and I'm using the interaction of unlock. Okay, and there's a few things you can use in there. I didn't really care about the delays and all this other stuff. I want it to basically happen immediately. Okay, so that's what I did on that. I didn't add anything else to this, but there's other cool things you can do. I'll talk about in some other videos where you can do look ats and all that kind of cool stuff. But in this case, we're going to stick with the unlock. Okay, so that now put trigger flashlight, good to go. Now let's go over to the Puzzle Maker Flashlight. So in the Puzzle Maker Flashlight, it says unlock after how many times? I'm just going to say 1 because I don't need multiple puts to happen. I just need the one put to happen. Now, if I were to do a puzzle that you've seen in some other tutorial videos, like if you had a pillar here, and pillar here, and you were asked to place one item on there, another item here, and another item here for it to unlock, then this would say unlock after 3. Right? And they would all point to the puzzle maker. And that's what you've seen in some other videos. So I'm using the same concept, but I only needed to happen once. Just that one put trigger for the flashlight. So then again, I created another horror event. Click this plus right here. And I made an unlock. And I basically saying that I want things to happen after the puzzle maker has unlocked. Okay? So what I did then is I expanded horror event, and I expanded environment, and what I did is I made a spawn actor. Okay, and I'll expand this. So spawn actor, I clicked plus, and it made a new element right here. And then right here, I said spawn actor from what class? Now they already have under usable assets and inventory a flashlight, and it has abilities where it will, if you press the 3 key, I think it is, it will come up. And so it's already got some cool features, and you can take it, you can inspect it. So it's already a class. You can see it's a blueprint class, and it's called Flashlight. That's what I want to be created by combining these two items. So this flashlight, so I clicked on this and searched for it, put it in there. Then this one here says Transform Copy Tool. Essentially, where do you want it to spawn? So what I did is I clicked up here where it says Empty Actor, and I dragged it out, and I put an empty actor right here. Okay? So that's where I want it to spawn. So what I did is use this pick actor from this eyedropper, and I selected this right here. And what that did is it actually put the transform of this item right here. It populated this field. So that's a quick and easy way to have a location to spawn something. So if you want something to spawn from up in the air, you would move this ball over here, so on and so forth. Excuse me. In this case, I just wanted to spawn right here on this table. So that did it there. And then down here, I put a delay. And the reason I put a 2-second delay is because I'm going to hide this and this once it actually happens. So I'll drop one on here and nothing will happen. I'll drop a second one on, then that will actually trigger this to happen. I want these two to disappear in 1 second, as in they just kind of go away. And then I want this to spawn. So I want time for these two to disappear first, and then a second later, the item will spawn right here. So I put delay before 2. Now you also, like I said, to do that particular one, to do that particular hide, as it were, you go down here to where it says hide and unhide, and I clicked on plus, And then I added 2 members by here. It says actors to hide. I clicked it twice. I clicked it once. And then down here, instead of actors to hide, which is what you would use if you were to have picked the actor to interact with the put instead of using tags, you would use this one. But because I use tags, I said get all the actors with the tags, and then I clicked plus, and I put the name in here. So in this case, I'll have to do flashlight battery, and I'll have to do flashlight core, because those are the 2 items, or 2 tagged items in the game. So I was kind of pondering on this the other night, trying to figure this out, because if I tag everything as flashlight, like if I had all these batteries tagged with flashlight, that means once I put this and this on here, all of these will disappear and hide. So I was like, how am I gonna get around that? So I guess I'm gonna have to keep like one, until I figure this out, I'm gonna have to keep just one of these items, and I specifically name them so that they can be used for all, like I can use these batteries for other things. So I specifically named just those 2. So in this case, I want to name it flashlight battery and flashlight core, hidden in game and disable collision. And I want to delay 1 second. So I want to have enough time for the person, because as soon as I walk over and I move my physics object into this space before I drop it on the table, that starts the trigger. So I don't want it to be that I haven't even placed the item down yet before they disappear. So I kind of give it a second for me to get in here and then drop it on the table, and then they both disappear and this happens. Okay, so that is pretty much it. So let's go test it out, show you what I'm talking about. All right, so you can see here, there's nothing spawned. There's my table. So I'm gonna come over here, and I'm gonna right click and grab this, drop it here, and you can see it doesn't disappear because it actually hasn't triggered yet, so it hasn't run that event. But as soon as I put this one on, okay, right, boom, here it triggers and disappear, and there's the flashlight. Then I can pick it up, I can take it, and I can use it. How cool is that? Sweet. So yeah, that's kind of the crafting I've done, and like I said, I've made some different recipes for some different ones, like the glow stick. If you look up here, let's see, that's puzzle maker. Let's go to the glow stick. So the glow stick one, it looks like it needs actors. I did actors this case, but I was testing both of them. But I'm going to use tags, I think, for this. So, so let me change this actually right here. Just kind of show you what we're doing. So instead of that, let's go over here, and I'm going to pick, I don't know. Obviously it's going to be legitimate stuff that would make sense, but just for now I'm using props. So I'm going to say glow stick core. Whoops, I'm sorry. I got to do tag. My bad. So type in tag, and I'm going to add an element, and I'm going to go ahead and call this glow stick core. And then I'll pick, let's pick one of these here. And you can put multiple tags. Like if you look here, you'll see I put multiple tags because it could be used in a different thing. That's why I would change this name to pistol battery or something like that. But I'm going to use this one here. Add a tag. And we'll call this one glow stick battery, I guess. I don't know. Oops. I'm going to keep my name and convention the same. There we go. All right, so glow stick battery and then glow stick core is what we have here. So let's go back here to my put trigger. So put trigger, glow stick, and we'll say right here. Oops, let me clear that out. Open up the collision settings. All right, so I'm going to delete these, and we're going to do the tag method. So we'll click this, and we'll do twice. So one is glow stick core, and one is, oops, glow stick battery. Yeah. And I'm going to say I need both of these items. And again, like I said, the issue would be if you had 2 items, like if you had 2 of these that were named glow stick battery, the player could just take both of these and put it on here and it will create it. So to get around that problem, try to make unique items for crafting instead of making items that can be dual use amongst multiple recipes. That would probably be the best choice in that case. Unless there's a different way that you guys can tell me that are watching this video that I can do it. For this, though, this is what I've come up with so far in this case. All right, so those are the 2 required tags, and you can see the same thing has happened here. I've got the horror event that I've made. I unlocked the puzzle maker. And in this case, I opened up and made the puzzle maker glow stick as the one that we want to unlock. So let's go over to our puzzle maker glow stick. And on this one here, we can see there is a spawn actor. Oops, go back up here. So unlock after 1 time. In other words, I just need the put trigger, just that one, to be activated. And that will then unlock the puzzle trigger. And after the puzzle trigger is unlocked, what do I want to do? Well, I want to spawn a glow stick. So there's spawn actor. And you can see right here, I made a glow stick by clicking in here and typing that in. I also went ahead and picked the actor location, which is this ball right here. And you can see it populated it right there. All right, so what I didn't do, though, is and the delay. Don't forget the delay, 2.0 seconds. What I didn't do is I didn't create my hide and unhide. So let's do that. So we're going to go ahead and click plus on that. And we're going to say instead of actors to hide, we're going to do get all actors with tags. And I have 2 tags. So we'll click twice. And we'll say hide everything that has glow stick, core, and glow stick, what was it called? Battery, right? Battery. There we go. And we're going to make sure they're hidden in game, and we disable collision. So those will delay or go away after 1 second. So I'll hit 1, enter, and we should be good. All right, so now I got to remember which one I made for it. Okay, so the camera battery, and I think it was this one, right? Let me verify and make sure. Yep, okay. So those 2 particular items right there are going to be what we want to make it. All right, so let's come back in, and we can see there's no glow stick over here. All right, so let's go ahead and grab this, drop this in our crafting area, grab that, and as soon as I cross the barrier, bing, disappear, and a glow stick. Oh, yeah, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Take it, and then I don't know what number, number 2, I guess. That's pretty cool. Like it, like it. So anyways, that's my crafting thing that I'm kind of making with this, and maybe I'm going to try to do some more videos, more so for myself as well, to remember how I did all this stuff. But this horror engine is pretty slick. They got a lot of cool stuff here, and I'm trying to figure out some different ways to utilize it for what hasn't been shown in the videos that you see on YouTube, which isn't very many. But yeah, hopefully that was helpful. All right, peace out, players.